There's a reason cat lovers are different. Not everyone sees it, but the science is there. People who truly connect with cats often share a quiet strength most never notice. And if you've ever been chosen by a cat, there's a good chance you have it too. Higher IQ than average. There's a stereotype of cat lovers that we are glasses-wearing, book-reading brain boxes with IQs higher than a shocked giraffe's eyebrows. But guess what? Turns out there's some truth to it. Studies have shown that self-identified cat lovers score higher on intelligence tests than the average person. Now, this doesn't mean every cat owner is secretly a genius. I'm not saying the fact that you clean out a litter tray at least once a day automatically qualifies you for Mensa membership, but the trend is noticeable. It's also worth noting that as part of this, cat people also gravitate toward creative or academic paths. In fact, a survey conducted in the United Kingdom found that a whopping 3,000 people felt that cat owners were significantly more likely to have a university degree. And no, they didn't just ask cat owners. So what's going on here? The big theory is time. To achieve more, you need more time to knuckle down and work. To think. To let your mind stew in all its big, brilliant thoughts. To do that, you may need to be the independent sort. Someone who can pull themselves together without too much pressure from anyone else. And what's that got to do with cats, you ponder? Well, people are often subconsciously drawn to pets that remind them of themselves. And what are cats if not fiercely independent? This mirrors research in personality psychology, where people with high openness to experience, a trait linked to intelligence and creativity, are more likely to prefer cats. So, folks who aren't just fine with being alone, but positively flourish when they are, might be drawn to having a fluffy feline friend in the home. And historically, geniuses who needed a lot of alone time to perfect their craft have loved cats. Writers like Mark Twain, poets like T.S. Eliot, and scientists like Nikola Tesla all had a soft spot for felines. Perhaps the quiet complexity of a cat is especially appealing to those who love observing, thinking, and solving puzzles. So if you're someone who finds joy in deciphering your cat's behavior and reading between the meows, you're not alone, and you might just be a little brainy too. But just because your cat, and maybe even you, like a little alone time, that doesn't mean they, and by extension you, aren't good with people. In fact, far from it. High sensitivity to emotional nuance. You see, cats are highly tuned to emotional nuance. A twitch of a tail, a slow blink, a sideways glance, all these things mean something. But very often, the humans who love cats are just as emotionally tuned in, just as sensitive as cats themselves. There is research that suggests that pet parents to feline friends tend to be more emotionally perceptive than the average person. We notice small shifts in the mood and tone of the room. And what's more, the same study suggests that while the kind of person who loves cats has this skill inherently, living with cats may even enhance this ability. Think about it. If you've learned the difference between an "I'm hungry" meow and a "why did you move my bed" meow, you're basically bilingual. Of course, that improves your ability to read between the lines and pick up on subtle emotions in humans as well. You can feel when someone says, "I'm all right," but actually means, "No, I'm not okay. I just don't want to talk about it," because you're used to having to decipher and interpret a great multitude of different meows and purrs. Cat people also understand affection in quieter forms, not just the stuff that gets given a voice. So, we pet parents to feline friends all pick up on the fact that a slow blink from our fuzzy little goblins is a gentle way of saying, "I love you." We all come to understand that a soft paw being placed on our legs is a sign of trust. They won't risk putting their delicate toe beans near anyone. And there's something else. Cat people tend to be the kind who connect in silence. The kind of silence that says, "I'm here," not the kind that needs to be filled. That emotional comfort in quiet moments, not everyone has that, but cat lovers often do. It also wouldn't be surprising if you're someone who enjoys people watching or picking up on small character details, even in movies, because understanding a cat means learning to spot tiny shifts in body language, and that habit doesn't switch off when the credits roll. And maybe one reason cat lovers are so emotionally attuned is that cats reflect feelings back at us. They're like little emotional mirrors. If something's off in your world, they often pick up on it before you say a word. And if you've ever felt like your cat knew you needed company without asking, you're not imagining it. For that reason, cat parents are often good listeners, excellent observers, and deeply empathetic. We connect through nuance rather than noise. Respect for autonomy. Cats have boundaries. They come when they want, they leave when they've had enough. They choose their people carefully. And most of us, cat lovers, respect that. In fact, we admire it. And interestingly, in some schools and therapy programs around the world, the way cats conduct themselves and how we respond to them is now being used to teach children about consent, especially in early education and special needs settings. Educators have found that cats are natural examples of body autonomy. In Australia and parts of the US, schools have incorporated cat consent lessons, where children learn to observe feline cues, like tail flicks, stiff posture, or walking away, as signs to stop. These programs have been particularly effective in helping kids with autism or trauma histories better understand nonverbal boundaries. Unlike dogs, cats don't tolerate being smothered. They give clear signals when they're done, and they expect those signals to be respected. Learning to read a cat's body language, ears back, tail flick, walking away, helps kids intuitively grasp that no doesn't have to be loud to be valid. One child therapist even described cats as living models of consent, used to build empathy and social understanding. In a world that still struggles to talk about boundaries, cats are quietly setting the standard. And yes, this respect for their wishes and wishes of others is another cat habit we cat parents exhibit as well. Research has found that cat people tend to be more non-conformist. They're less likely to follow rules just because they're there. They value freedom and flexibility in both themselves and others. So naturally, this manifests in the way they handle relationships. Cat people are often content to let others be who they are. If your friend or partner wants to be alone with their Xbox to kill zombies, we cat parents are more likely to be unoffended by that and leave them to it. There's real science to this to boot. And this time not studies on cats, but on humans. Psychologists say people often choose pets that match their own temperament. So calmer folks who are totally chill to not just be alone, but let others be alone tend to be drawn to pets that are similarly respectful of boundaries. If you're the kind of person who lets a cat take their time instead of picking them up constantly, you're probably the kind of person who lets your friends and loved ones breathe too. And to be frank, that's probably at the crux of why you choose to welcome a cat into your home in the first place. Resilience. Loving a cat isn't about instant rewards. It's about patience, presence, showing up without needing constant validation. Cats don't give affection on demand. They offer it when it's real. And that means every slow blink, every quiet sit beside you, every tiny sign of trust. It matters more. That kind of bond doesn't happen overnight. It requires consistency, gentleness, and emotional steadiness. Qualities that aren't loud, but they're powerful. And if you've earned a cat's affection, you've shown all of them. In fact, one 2019 study from Oregon State University found that cats form secure attachments to their humans in ways similar to infants, and that the depth of that bond depends heavily on how calm, responsive, and emotionally regulated the owner is. Researchers studying human-animal relationships have also found that cat owners often display higher emotional resilience and self-regulation. A UK study on pet ownership and psychological traits found that cat owners scored higher than non-pet owners in traits like persistence, adaptability, and stress tolerance, especially those who had shy or reserved cats. Why? Because cats challenge us to be steady without pushing, to care without control, to wait and trust, and respond. You've seen what makes cat lovers quietly powerful, but what if your cat is one of the rare ones as well? There's something they might be doing, something easy to miss, that could change the way you see them.